Rams general manager Les Snead revealed the Rams draft strategy. Also, we're taking a look at the undrafted free agents that the Rams signed. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams.
You are Locked On Rams, your daily Los Angeles Rams podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, Ramily, and welcome to another episode of Locked On Rams, your daily podcast covering your Los Angeles Rams. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do me a huge favor. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell, hit the like button. Just hit 17,000 subscribers, so a big thank you to all of you guys out there who have been rocking with us, the new ones that joined the party. Thank you so much, and of course, the podcast listeners. Always give you guys the biggest shout-out as well. My name is Doug McCain. Friends call me D-Mac. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. I've covered LA sports for over a decade, 24/7 sports, Bleacher Report, SI, Dodgers Nation. I also do NFL radio for Westwood One. Today I'm flying solo, the People's Champ, Mr. Travis Rogers. I'll be back tomorrow, but we've got a jam-packed show. We are looking at the undrafted free agents that the Rams picked up. Also, Les Snead revealed the Rams draft strategy if they execute on it, and will we see a little wrinkle from the Rams offense with the tight end position in 2025, something we haven't seen in a while. That's coming up. But first, today's episode of Locked On Rams brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $250 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. Okay, guys, so let's get right into it. Still in the aftermath of the draft, and Rams general manager Les Snead, he was on the Pat McAfee show, and he gave a glimpse. He gave some good insight to the Rams strategy. He told Pat, it was really one of those drafts where you have to work and maneuver to grab the players, to attack the players that you felt like could come in and contribute in a role, in a vision that we have for them. Based on the nature of our board, this draft, what positions we wanted, it was a little bit thinner. So that was their strategy, to go and get the players that they wanted for the quality, right? They traded up multiple times in this draft. I mean, you look at the second round, you take Terrence Ferguson with the number 46 pick. That was after you traded back 20 spots and you gave that pick to the Atlanta Falcons. You got the first round pick for the 2026 draft. And then you get Michigan edge rusher Josiah Stewart there at number 90. So really, with the Rams strategy, you're going for talented players that can schematically fit into what they're trying to do offensively and defensively. And then later in the draft, that's where you kind of were a little more aggressive after seeing how the draft board was playing out. The guys that were still available, that they had higher grades on, they were close enough to say, okay, we're going to move up and get those guys. They moved up 10 spots to get running back Jarquez Hunter. They took him in the fourth round. You went up 47 spots for D tackle Ty Hamilton out of Ohio State in the fifth. And then you went 29 spots up to grab linebacker Chris Paul Jr. in the fifth out of Ole Miss. So they were so close with some of those guys, and they were delighted to see that they were even attainable. So they went out there and they got the players that they thought, hey, we don't care that they still exist because we see something that other teams don't see in them. And they were happy to move up and get those guys. So clearly the Rams strategy wasn't just, okay, we're going to get cornerback, we're going to get receiver, it was we're going to try to get the quality guys at certain positions that we can plug them in. They can play this year, can also provide some depth, and we view these guys as guys we can get first or second or third round production, and it didn't matter where they picked them up. If there was a wide receiver available, I think that they wanted higher, they would have probably done that. If there was a cornerback that was someone that they liked more, that was pretty attainable, they probably would have done that. But these are the guys that they were within reach that they went up and they got. So I'm totally fine with that. We still need to see what the Rams do to finish this roster at the cornerback position. We've talked about Jalen Ramsey and guys like that. So I'm still confident that you're going to add a piece or two before the season begins. But another really interesting nugget that he gave out was talking about the tight end position. And their highest pick was Oregon tight end Terrence Ferguson. They took him with the fourth pick. There was talk that they were interested in him at 26. So that's how much they liked him. That's how high they were on him. Big dude, athletic, 6'5", catch radius, flex tight end, can move those chains. Think that he has the potential to be a dynamic pass catcher and a receiving tight end, and that is how he's most likely going to be utilized. Sneed talked about the tight end position. He said, we have a really good tight end room. We have a lot of veterans. Everyone in our room has played football. Tyler Higbee has been with us since Sean's been here, but I know there's an element of Tyler being at the end of his career. Who's going to replace him? And then just adding another tight end to the field. I think when Sean McVay came to us from Washington, they did a lot of 12 personnel. So maybe we'll add a little bit of that to our repertoire. At the end of the day, good position, and we like the player as well. So he's saying that the Rams could use more 12 personnel in 2025. And if that is the case, that would be a departure from what we've seen throughout the last 5-6 years with Sean McVay. With Sean McVay, you look at where the Rams have been. He arrived in 2017, and he has been Mr. 11 personnel. He's been Mr. 11 personnel. That has been his identity. In 2022 and 2023, the Rams, they were at 11 personnel between 90 to 92% of the time. Last season, you did see them drop off from as much of the 11 personnel that we saw during the peak of that strategy, that scheme. That went down to 81.3%, but still they used 11 personnel, the second most in the league last year at 81.3%. So picking up Terrence Ferguson, we could be looking at more 12 personnel looks, more 12 personnel packages, and you're going to see one running back, 2 tight ends, and 2 receivers. The Rams last season, they went 12 personnel 13% of the time. That was 28th in the NFL. They've been 12th in the NFL in 12 personnel usage in 2023. So, I mean, the 2023, you saw a little more, and in 2024, that really dropped again. So that is something that you're going to see more of with Terrence Ferguson. You're going to see them try to explore that, and maybe it's not right away because you want to develop. It's not the easiest position just to plug in right away because you already have a guy that's capable when healthy in Tyler Higbee. But getting 2 tight ends on the field is a very exciting thing to think about if you're the Rams because you want to give Matthew Stafford variety. We know what he has in Puka Nacua. We know that Devontae Adams is going to make big plays. Tutu Atwell is still a question mark. We know what the running backs are going to provide. Not too many explosive runs unless we see Hunter come in right out of the gates and make big plays. They're going to move the chains. They're going to give you consistent production. But I think 2 tight ends could help open that running game as well. I think you could get a running game that you could see some bigger plays. When you got more tight ends as blockers than receivers, well, your ground game is going to benefit of that. So when you go towards a 12 personnel package, you could see that uplifted as well. And then you also could see just the ability to impact downfield throws. I mean, you look at Matthew Stafford, and he's someone that we've seen him use tight ends in the past. He can certainly do that, and I think that you can only do this when you have receiving tight ends that you can trust. And Tyler Higbee, when he's healthy, you can trust him. Colby Parkinson, he kind of transitioned to more of a blocking tight end towards the end of last season. He wasn't that red zone threat that they hoped he would be. But if this all works out, you see more tight ends, that's going to make this a more physical offense. I think that this could impact the playing time of Tutu Atwell, so that's something else to consider. But all in all, I think this is music to your ears if you want to see this version of the Rams offense that we haven't seen in a long time. I think this is going to potentially be the best version of a Rams offense from the tight end spot since we had Gerald Everett and Tyler Higbee as a young player, and it was just a different look. So I'm excited about this. I like hearing this. The more I see highlights of Terrence Ferguson, read more about him, see what he's capable of, talk to people that covered him at Oregon. Look, this could be a guy that you look back in 5 to 10 years, and he was one of the better tight ends in this draft. I mean, there's no guarantees that Colson Lovely and Tyler Warren are going to be those guys. Terrence Ferguson made plays, man. He made plays. All he did was make plays when he was out there with the Oregon Ducks. And he told Les Snead and Sean McVay that, hey, they just drafted the best tight end in this draft. And yes, I know that everyone says that. Every tight end, every player tells the GM and the coach that picked them that they got the best player and this and that. I think with Terrence Ferguson, the difference is he has the measurables, right? Fastest 40 time, the height, the leader in yards after catch for a tight end. I mean, the advanced stuff likes him. The numbers production likes him. It's just about translating to the pros, and I think that this marks the shift for the Rams and saying, hey, we're going to take a tight end this high because we're going to feature him more in his offense, and I think that gives him an opportunity to be able to have success and hopefully just be a monster. So excited about Terrence Ferguson. Love hearing Les Snead's draft strategy because I think that people aren't as high on the draft for the Rams expert-wise as they were in the last couple years, but they weren't that high on it a couple years ago, right? So I still think that the Rams know what they're doing. You got to trust them because they've struggled for the last couple of seasons, and I think Terrence Ferguson, go watch the highlights, man. Go watch the production. This guy's a dog, and I think he's going to be big for this Rams offense. But coming up next, we're going to take a look at the undrafted free agents for the Rams and some fun stuff about them. What do we need to know? That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. The NBA playoffs are here, and FanDuel is giving new customers an incredible way to get in on the action. Right now, when you join FanDuel and place your first $5 bet, you'll get $250 in bonus bets if your bet wins. And I love how FanDuel makes betting so easy, whether it's picking my favorite team or diving into player props. From three-pointers to steals to assists, FanDuel has so many ways to bet your favorite player props. Plus, after the game tips off, you can even combine live prop bets into a same-game parlay for a chance to win. So don't miss out. Head to FanDuel.com and claim your $250 in bonus bets today. That's FanDuel.com to claim your $250 in bonus bets. And we are off and running here on Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. We're also available over on YouTube, so if you haven't yet, do us a huge favor, subscribe to the channel. If you're new to the pod, subscribe to the pod, write a review. Also want to give a special shout out to those every listeners out there. You know who you are, watching and listening to every single episode of Locked On Rams. Cannot tell you how much we appreciate you guys. You make this podcast, you make this show what it is. And if you are new, which there are many of you, join that Everyday Listeners Club. All you do is watch on YouTube or listen every Monday through Friday, and then you won't miss a thing about your Los Angeles Rams, the best football team in the universe. So let's dive into the UDFAs, the undrafted free agents, who they pick up, just so you know these names, where they came from. We'll talk a little more about them, too, after we just list them off. So, yeah, linebacker Sean Dolak out of Buffalo, edge Jameel Muhammad out of USC, interior offensive lineman Trey Weddick out of Indiana, wide receiver Brendan Presley out of Oklahoma State, running back Jordan Waters, North Carolina State, defensive lineman DeJoun Terry, Oklahoma, wide receiver True Edwards out of Louisiana Tech, safety Nate Vacarse out of NIU, wide receiver Mario Williams out of Tulane, interior offensive lineman Willie Lampkin, UNC, edge Josh Piercy from Rice, it's in H-Town, Houston, Texas, then offensive lineman Ben Dooley from Boise State. So there's some interesting names in here. I mean, Dooley, 14 games. He started with Boise State this past season. He was a first-team All-Mountain West honoree. He went to the college football playoffs, so he has played some high-level college football. He was teammates with Ashton Genty. He had an impressive pro day. This is someone who, high character guy. I really like this one. I really like this as a UDFA for sure. Then you go down to Josh Pierce out of Rice, outside linebacker. You like that one. You get some depth. You get some athleticism there. But let's kind of look at some more stuff. I mean, Mario Williams from Tulane said 300 yards receiving in a season with 3 different schools. How crazy is that? He went from Oklahoma to USC, to Tulane, and he had 300 yards at each school. And this year with Tulane, very productive. 1,031 yards, 6 touchdowns on 60 catches. Mario Williams, I really like this pickup. I really, really do. This is a guy that was a highly touted prospect in college, so we'll see if they can tap into that potential with the Rams. And how about wide receiver True Edwards from Louisiana? He's a first-team All-CUSA in 2024, had a big breakout season, 84 catches for 986 yards, 6 touchdowns, led the team in every single receiving category. And I think what makes him interesting is, one, you got the NFL genes. He is the son of former first-round pick Troy Edwards. And then also, he's kind of a late bloomer. I mean, he had just 28 catches for 321 yards and 2 touchdowns for his entire career. And then he quadruples that in most categories. I mean, you went from 28 catches in his career to 84 catches in one season alone, from 321 yards for his entire career to 986 yards in this year alone. So that's an interesting one, True Edwards. You look at kind of the Rams looking kind of for that next crop of receivers that they're looking for because there's so much uncertainty at that position. I mean, Edwards, 6'1", 200 pounds. He is strictly a slot wide receiver, smooth route runner, does have soft hands, has a great reputation for being a yak yard specialist. He's quick, he's shifty. You look at the highlights, I mean, this guy looks like a playmaker right here. So that's a sneaky one. That's a very, very, very sneaky one. I mean, to be the son of an NFL player, to kind of fall this, I mean, he's athletic too. Athletic, some spins, jumping over dudes, just watching some highlights right now. I don't know if I just want to like throw all my eggs into the True Edwards basket or just completely plant my flag on True Edwards Island, but he had a 4.440, a 10.7 broad jump, 39.5-inch vertical. So that's pretty impressive stuff. And then you jump to, let's talk about tight end Mark. So tight end Mark Redmond too. I mean, Mark Redmond's another guy, second team All Mountain West, twice at San Diego State. Then he went to Louisville in 2024, and he was productive there. I mean, at All Mountain West, had 641 yards, 5 touchdowns. That's an interesting one for sure. Then we talk about a running back. How about Jordan Waters at NC State? So this is pretty interesting too. When you look at the overall production, I mean, he was 5 years at Duke and then transferred to NC State in 2024. So that's a lot of college football with Duke. He had 12 touchdowns in his last season there. He finished his career with the Blue Devils with 23 tutties. It's the third most in Duke history. Had 1,690 yards on 333 carries. And the Rams are always kind of sniffing around a little bit at that running back position. Of course, you took Hunter in this draft and you took Corum in the last draft, but they've taken a receiver, a running back in the last 8 drafts. So they view that position as hey, we can find guys later in rounds, early in rounds, UDFA types. You have to kind of take your chances on some of these guys. But yeah, he was definitely more productive at Duke, and he's big. I mean, 6 feet tall, 224 pounds. So we'll pay close attention to guys like that. We'll see if they develop. Not as excited about him as some of the other guys, but how about wide receiver Brennan Presley out of Oklahoma State? 14th most receptions in D1 history. Smaller dude, 5'8". Spent 5 years at Oklahoma State. Lots of experience, lots of production, 315 receptions for 3,315 yards, 23 touchdowns. Finished as the Cowboys' all-time leader in career catches. It was the second most ever in the Big 12, 14th in Division I history, and also a great leader. He was a multi-time team captain. This one's interesting to me because it's kind of one of those things where it's like, it doesn't really matter what your measurables are, how much of a high-level prospect are you viewed. I mean, guys like that, it's kind of one of those things where you kind of say he's on the field, so he's going to be productive because that's kind of all he knows. I mean, not the most athletic dude in the world or anything like that. He's, like I say, he's undersized, but he's kind of thick, kind of got that fire hydrant build. He's physical. He's tough. He kind of fits that mode as a tough Rams receiver. So I like that. If you look at his athletic score, he had a 7.36 relative athletic score. That would put him at 1,008 out of 3,816 from wide receivers from 1987 to 2025. So that's not explosive, right? It's not elite, but yeah, I mean, there are some nice things. I mean, the 40-yard dash at 4.48. I mean, that's solid. 20-yard split, 2.59. 10-yard split, 1.5. The 4.07 shuttle, a 6.71 3-cone. I mean, really, his big negatives are his height, his weight, and he's just kind of okay when it comes to the explosion stuff. A vertical and a broad jump that are just kind of average, but speed-wise, he looks like he can do some things. So that'll be an interesting one to follow along as well. Then you got, where do you go next? Let's talk some Anthony Torres, Toledo tight end. This guy, if Chris Carter, all he did was catch touchdowns in the NFL, that's kind of what this guy did at Toledo. 9 of his 31 catches in 2024 were for tight end. So he isn't a big, high volume, tons of receptions guys, but he certainly makes them count. 31 catches, 9 for touchdowns. That was third in the conference in touchdown receptions at a tight end. So they weren't just little red zone gimmies too. Had a 78-yard receiving touchdown last season. I mean, go back and look at the highlights of that one. This guy was he was rumbling and stumbling, and it was impressive. I mean, he's huge too. I mean, he's 6'6", 250 pounds. He's a 7th-year senior. So the thing with him is, just kind of looking into it, he had a back injury that cost him his senior year in high school. Then he goes to Western Michigan in 2018 and spent his first 2 years just rehabbing that injury. So scouts will tell you, soft hands, good short area target. He's kind of stiff as an athlete, not a lot of wiggle in his game, not a great vertical threat. That 78-1 is 70-yard reception is kind of a little bit of a fluky one, but hey, I mean, a 26-year-old rookie does have a ton of upside, does have the back injury history, but yeah, I mean, will he make the roster? A long shot, but definitely has some physical tools for sure. But coming up next, we're going to take a look at some more of the UDFAs and some more interesting nuggets about them and which one of these kind of stands out. That's coming up next on Locked On Rams. And a reminder that today's episode of Locked On Rams is brought to you by our friends over at Monarch Money. Ever check out your bank account and wonder, where'd all my money go? Between dining out, online shopping, and entertainment, it's easy to lose track. That's where Monarch Money comes in. Your personal CFO, giving you full visibility and control over your finances. Monarch Money isn't just a budgeting app, it's a complete financial command center. You can track all your accounts, investments, and spending in one place, so you stop just managing your money and start building your wealth. What I love about it too is you get surprise insights. When I started using Monarch, I realized just how much I was spending on food delivery. Now I budget smarter and save more. And it's very convenient. It's all in one. Instead of juggling multiple apps, you can use Monarch to check your finances, track spending, and even plan long-term goals. And you can also collaborate. Managing money with your partner is smoother than ever. You can track shared and personal accounts, set goals, and stay on the same page without the stress. Take control of your finances with Monarch Money. Use code LOCKEDONNFL at monarchmoney.com for 50% off your first year. That's monarchmoney.com, code LOCKEDONNFL for half off your first year. And welcome back to Locked On Rams. Thank you for making Locked On Rams your first listen every single weekday. Free and available wherever you get your podcast. Locked On Rams, part of Locked On Podcast Network. Your team every day. How about Wyatt Bowles out of Utah State? So the Rams one thing that I can tell you that they consider is everything, not just how you looked on tape, not just how you measure, not just your college production, but just little details about you. Like for example, Kobe Turner, for example, right? The guy is a talented musician, very smart guy. Puka Nacua, great personality. These things are talked about, they're discussed, they're considered when the Rams select players. Well, Wyatt Bowles, this guy's smart, man. 4-time academic All-American. And we know that the Rams like smart players. They like players with experience. Played 52 games, 20 starts in his career. And the thing about Wyatt Bowles is when it comes to offensive linemen in this organization, it's really about, hey, if they give you an opportunity, is it because you earned it or is it because guys got injured? Well, you look at Bowles, he's 6'5", 306, 32-inch arms. He's known as an athlete. He's a smooth mover. He can pull, got second-level blocks on some of his highlights there, good hands, good feet, and he's got a good wide base. He was mainly at left guard, but he has versatility. The Rams like the versatility. He can play at all three interior spots. And look, I mean, you hear fans talk about he was nasty, man. They like nasty. I think that for me, this is a sneaky one. A sneaky one. We saw Bo Limmer last season, and Bo Limmer kind of climbed up after being a late-round pick. But the thing about, Davis is, I mean, this guy, he's got power, man. He's aggressive. He's kind of a mauler type. That's kind of what they want to kind of transition to. I'm excited to see how this translates at the next level. He's got talent. He's got talent. He sure does, and he's nasty. Just kind of looking at him in the interior there, strength, power. I'm in on it. This is kind of one of the higher picks that I like. And how about offensive lineman Trey Wedig out of Indiana? Now, the Rams, they want to go to more of a physical running style. They've done that last couple of seasons. And with Wedig, he had the 8th best run blocking grade of any tackle last season. So he had a really good year in 2024, allowed just 2 sacks, 1 QB hit. Really good as a run blocker. Like I said, 85.1 PFF run blocking grade. It's the 8th best. 83.5 overall grade. That was the 14th best at his position. So this kind of makes me think like, man, how did this guy not get picked up? I mean, this is someone that you look at some of the draft grades and you would kind of expect that he would have gotten selected at some point, but he ends up not. And he transferred from Wisconsin, started 13 games at right tackle for that Indiana team. That was kind of the breakout team there in the Big 10. He's got a ton of experience. He's got good height. He's got good length. He's efficient. So this is an interesting one to me. I like this one. He's 6'7", 319 pounds, 33-inch arms, 10-inch hands. Man, how did this guy not get picked? I mean, Indiana dude, I think that this could be potentially, I mean, I just want to get this on record just in case it happens. I can look back and take a victory lap. This guy could possibly be Rob Havenstein's replacement. I mean, for next season, everything works out. I mean, he's really good in the pass game. And I think that you look at his experience just against speed rushers and tight ends and just being able to go toe-to-toe with the more athletic types and seeing kind of where that's gone. I think that is something that kind of bodes well for him. I really, really do. So I want to say that could be my pick, but that's an interesting one for sure. You kind of want to work on the speed. Definitely want to work on the speed too. But undrafted, he had a 7.64 relative athletic score. That was 355 out of 1,501 offensive tackles from 1987 to 2025. So definitely on the higher side of that. So, yeah, I think for him, it's just the agility you want to see go up, the 3-cone, not super duper strong, 17 reps. But we know football strength and combine strength is very, very different. I like the upside of him as an offensive tackle. The B said about him, Wedig's consistency and pass pro should improve with more reps. If it does, he has the tools to develop into an NFL swing tackle. So a guy like that, UDFA, I mean, their UDFA got extended in Alaric Jackson, so the Rams clearly aren't afraid to develop a UDFA. But that's going to do it for this episode of Locked On Rams. My name is Doug McCain. You can follow me on X and Instagram at DMAC_LA. And until next time, whose house? It's Locked On Rams house.